Hello everyone, and welcome to the Java Game Programming series. In this series, we start from the very beginning of game development and steadily create our own video game. These tutorials are designed for beginner to intermediate programmers, but even those with experience will learn a lot throughout the series. If you are absolutely brand new and never programmed anything before in your life, then I suggest clicking the link on the screen to check out my short Beginner Java Programming mini-series, which will get you up to speed in just a few videos and will make this game programming series a lot easier to follow. There are new episodes continually being released on a schedule, which you can check at the About section of this channel, so rest assured this series will be continuing for a long time. I read every comment that is posted on the videos on this channel, so if you need help with something or get stuck, then please leave a comment with the specific issue you are facing and I or someone else might be able to help. In addition, this channel is supported by a Patreon page, which you can find at patreon.com/indieprogrammer or by clicking the link at the top right of this video. By making a pledge on Patreon, you can unlock rewards, such as early episodes, unlisted videos, the source code of the game, Skype calls with me, and lots of other stuff, so make sure to check it out. Finally, the first 25 episodes of this series were originally uploaded to my old channel, Cross Coast Gaming, so what you're about to see are multiple episodes edited together into a single video. Because of this, my voice might change between each episode as my microphone might be placed differently each time I was recording. At the end of each video will be a link to the next episode in the series, which you can also find in the video description. Again, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below or on the Patreon page, and I hope you enjoy the series. Hey guys, it's Brian from Cross Coast Gaming, and this is the first episode of a new series on how to make a video game in Java. So this episode we're just going to be setting up the libraries and the environment. So go ahead and we're going to make a new folder, get all nice and organized. And I'm going to name it Workspace. Open that up, make a new folder called Lib for libraries. And inside here we're going to make two more. One called Jars and one called Natives. Alright, so once we've done that, open up your browser and we're going to Google for two things. The first one is LWJGL for Lightweight Java Game Library, and the second one is Slick Util. So for Slick, we're going to click the second link here from Ninja Cave, and down here where it says Library Only, we're going to click that, download it, and then for Lightweight Java Game Library, Alright, and then once that's downloaded, we're going to open it up, and we're going to click Show in Folder to get to where Slick Util downloaded, and we can exit out of Chrome now. And we're going to go to our workspace that we created, Lib, Jars, and we're going to drag and drop the Slick Util right in this folder, and then inside this .rar file we downloaded, we're going to go into this folder, go into Jar, and we want two. We want the regular one right here, Lightweight Java Game Library, and we also want the util. So drag those in there, and then go up a couple folders to Native, and then choose your operating system. I'm on Windows, so go to Windows. And let's go back in our workspace folder over to the natives, and we're just going to bring everything from this folder, everything from this folder over to the other natives folder. And now we're done, so we can exit out of these windows. And now we're going to open up Eclipse. And if you don't have Eclipse, you don't know what it is, you don't know how to set it up, there should be an annotation on the screen right now for a tutorial on how to set that up, so just go ahead and click that and then come right back after. So once you're in Eclipse, we're going to exit this intro screen, click File, Switch Workspace, Other, and we're going to go to the workspace that we just created, so mine is right here on the desktop. Click OK. It should reload with the proper workspace. Alright, now once you're in here, we're going to make a new project, Java project, and I'm going to name mine, I'll just name mine Game Project. And inside here, inside the src folder, we're going to make a new package called Data, and inside of that, a new class called Boot. And Boot is going to be our main class. Now, in order for us to use those files that we just downloaded, we have to set them up for this project. So go ahead and right click on our game project and go to Properties. From here, go to Java Build Path, Libraries, and we're going to add external jars. So these are the jars that we downloaded. So you're going to go to your desktop, or wherever you made your workspace folder, go to your workspace folder, lib, jars. We're going to add all three of these. And then for the middle one, the lightweight Java game library, double click on the native library location, external folder, and we're going to navigate to our natives folder and press OK. OK. So now you can see over here on the left, referenced libraries, we now have access to all three files that we just downloaded. So we're going to go ahead in our boot class, and we're going to make the entry point to our program. I'm just going to say new boot. We're going to go ahead and make that method up here, or that constructor rather. And in here we're going to start creating our display screen for the game. So we're going to set the title, title, and I'm going to name mine Cross Coast Gaming game. You can name yours whatever you want, doesn't matter. And then we're going to set the size, which is display mode, new display mode, and for now I'll make it 600 by 400. And for this we need to import it, so hover over it and make sure you import the lightweight Java game library one, not the AWT one. And we should get an error because we need to surround it with a try catch. So just click that. And this just means that in case something goes wrong, don't blow up the computer. Just catch the error, stop running it, and print out what went wrong. So I'm going to delete this comment right here. And inside of the try catch, right under where we set the title, or the display mode, we're going to create the screen. Alright, and what this should do is as soon as we hit run, a screen of these dimensions with this title should pop up real quick and then exit. Alright, looks like it worked. I'll run it one more time. So that's going to be our game screen. So next video we're going to work on obviously keeping the screen active and alive, and then running some code to get our game going. What is up, guys? This is Brian from Cross Coast Gaming with another Java tutorial, and today we're going to be making this. We're going to get our window to stay open and we're going to draw a line on it. Pretty simple stuff, so I just wrote it real quick before the video started, so I'm going to undo all of this and pick up right where the first episode left off. So if we run it, it just appears real quick and then it disappears. So the first thing we're going to do is make our while loop to actually run the game. And if you're not familiar with while loops, then there should be an annotation on the screen right now on a tutorial I did earlier that covers that. So you can go ahead and click that and then come back after you learn about while loops. And that reminds me, I wanted to say also that my goal for this series is that if we're going to be learning together, so if there's anything I brush over, then it probably means that it's already been covered in the past. So I'll try my best to have an annotation to the video link, but if there isn't one, then you can just go ahead and search through my older videos and they should cover anything that we're going over that I just kind of nonchalantly throw around. Otherwise, if I spend time going over something, that means that I haven't covered it in the past. So I just want to say that. So this is our while loop, and this is where all of the code is going to go for running our game. And you can see it's a very robust condition. It just says while the display is not being requested to close. So while we're not hitting the exit button, we're going to do everything for our game, which means that outside of this, after this while loop ends, we're going to destroy the display. So end the game. So there's a couple things that we need to do to prepare our game to be run with OpenGL. And lightweight Java game library, which is the library we're using for this series, is kind of just a middleman that makes it easier for the programmer to talk to OpenGL, which is what we're going to be using for all of our graphics-based, all of our graphics in our game. So we're going to set it up right here with a few commands. And the first one's going to be GL matrix mode, GL projection. And what we're going to do actually up here at the top is we're going to import static or LWJGL game library OpenGL GL11.star. And so what this is going to do is it's going to give us access to the star as a wildcard character. So it pretty much imports everything from this GL11 library. So that's what we're going to be doing. And you may or may not know that Eclipse, if you press Control-Shift-O, automatically imports everything that you've written in your code that isn't already imported. But for some reason right now my Eclipse isn't working very well with that, so I'm going to do this, and then after we're done writing all the code in here, we're going to go back and get rid of the stuff that we don't need, because we're not going to use everything in this library. But for now I'm just going to keep that there. So you can see this now is recognized. And after that, we're going to load the identity. So GL load identity. GL ortho. Ortho is setting up our camera. So for this, we're going to put, I'll go over what the numbers are in a second after we write them down, but it's going to be 0, and then the width of our screen, which I think right now is 600, the height, which is 400, 0, and the last two are for 3D, which we're just going to make it a 2D game, so I'm going to do 1 and -1. And then lastly, the last command we need is GL matrix mode model view. So GL ortho is setting up our camera for what the screen's going to see. And you can see the commands right here, or the arguments, and the numbers pretty much align for what the far left of the screen is going to be in the coordinate system, what the far right is going to be, what the very bottom and what the very top are going to be. So I set it up so that the top left is going to be 0, 0 for our XY coordinate system, which is how I think most people do it. So once we have that done, we're going to go into our while loop, and there's a couple things we need to do at the end of the loop every time it runs. The first is we need to update the screen, and then after that we need to sync the screen, and it's going to ask for frames per second, so it doesn't really matter right now, to be honest, but I'm just going to put in 60. So now if we run this, you can see our screen stays up. You can move it around. Good start. Good game so far. And to make the game even more exciting than it already is, we're going to draw a line. So the way you do that, and some of these, like all of this code right here, and this, and the line we're about to draw, it's going to seem really convoluted. And so we're going to actually be making custom methods to kind of shorten this stuff. I'm going to make a custom class that's going to help out with a lot of the OpenGL stuff, and I think that it's a good thing to learn, that we can just kind of shorten all this to one line and get rid of this stuff and make drawing lines and rectangles easier. But for now, it's good for you guys to see exactly what goes into it. So GL begin, GL lines. So this pretty much means we're going to begin starting a line, and then it takes two parameters, which is the beginning point of the line and the ending point. So the way you do that is you set the vertex. And so GL vertex 2f means we're going to give it two floats. You could also do 2i for two integers, but I like floats. And we'll start it at 10, 10. And we'll do the ending point, which is the other vertex, at 100, 100. And then we need to end. We're going to say we're done drawing the line. Alright, there you go, and there's the line on the screen. So this is going to use a lot of coordinate systems and basic algebra, but if you're not familiar with that, don't worry, because the next tutorial where we draw a rectangle to the screen, I'm going to go more into the coordinate system and how we can kind of work that to our advantage. But for now, I guess that's it. Hey guys, what's up? It's Brian from Cross Coast Gaming with our Java tutorial, and the last time we made this. We kept the window open, drew a line on the screen, and this time we're going to make, instead of just a line, we're going to make a quad, or a rectangle, or a square. And once we learn this, that's pretty much all we're going to use for our game, because you can overlap textures onto the quads. So for our tile-based game, we can draw the entire map and the enemies and the towers. It's all based on squares. So you can see this time, or last time when we made a line, it had a very simple order of operations. We said we're going to begin drawing the line. We gave it the vertex for the starting point, which was 10, 10, and the vertex for the ending point, which is 100, 100, and then we ended the line. So I whipped up a little grid here, and this might be kind of a review for some of you, but just bear with me here. Nice little refresher. So this is our screen, this grid. I'm not sure if you can see me selecting, but this whole grid is our screen. And for the purpose of this tutorial, I just made it a little 9x9 in here so we can count the indices here. And so something that's different about our screen that is different from most graphs you might see is that the bottom left isn't 0, 0. It's 0, 9, or 0 and the height of our screen. 0, 0 starts at the top left of the screen. Okay? So when y increases, it's going down. So that's something that's kind of not very familiar to just algebra and stuff. It's more a programming and game programming thing. So when y increases, we're actually bringing y down towards the lower end of the screen. So now that we have that taken care of, I'm going to get rid of this little arrow I drew there. And I put a little example square. So if you remember in our program, we had to set each vertex. So for a line, it's only 2 vertexes, the beginning point and the ending point. And so we said the start is going to be at 10, 10, 10x over, and then 10y down. And the end is going to be 100x over and 100y down. And you kind of see that here. So 10 pixels over, 10 pixels down, 100 pixels over, 100 pixels down. For the square, you have to label every angle. What am I trying to say? Every vertex. There we go. And it does it kind of in an unusual way, at least to me. It goes clockwise. So it starts at the top left, then goes to the top right, and then bottom left. So I made a little example square in here, and we're going to figure out the coordinates for it. So the first thing you do, you see in the top right here, we start with the x, and then we put the y after it. So for this square, it looks like it is at 3x, and then down 3y. Then the top right corner is over 4x, down 3y. The bottom right is over 4x, down 4y. And the bottom left is over 3x, down 4y. Okay? Makes sense. I'm looking at it. Yeah, it makes sense. So this is also the same if you wanted to make, say, a rectangle instead of just a square. So let's say we had a rectangle over here. The top left is going to be over 7x and down 2y, so 7, 2. Top right is going to be over 8, down 2. Bottom right is going to be over 8, down 5. And the bottom left is going to be over 7, down 5. So that's how coordinate systems work. If you guys need to pause it and double check what we just did, I think I got it all right. So we're going to go back to our program now and begin this. And so the way we begin this is just like the lines. We say GL begin, GL quads. And then we're going to give it a vertex for the top left. So for this, we'll start at where our line ends. That's going to be 100, 100. And the top right, we'll make it a 50 by 50 square. So over 150, down 100. Over 150, down 150. And over 100, down 150, and then GL end. And let's try running that. Alright, there you go. So you can see it starts right where our line ends, and it's 50 by 50 long. You can tell it's about half the length of the line. So a way that we can make this easier is instead of specifying the bottom right and the top right at the exact coordinate or the exact pixel coordinate, we can just say we want everything to be relative to this top left starting point plus the width or plus the height of the square. So we can do that right up here. Just set 2 variables for width and height to 50. Down here, let me add some comments. So bottom right right corner and bottom left corner. So the top left is where we're starting our square. So that's going to be our constant point, 100, 100. The top right is going to be 100, 100, but it's going to be plus the width. So 100 plus the width of our square is the x-coordinate. Okay. Here is also going to be 100 plus the width of our square, and then 100 plus the height of our square. And then down here is going to be 100, and then 100 plus the height of our square. Okay, and you can see that worked. And then there's one more thing we could do to abstract it even more, and that's make the position. So float x and y equals 100. And let's go down to where we draw it. And we're going to start the square at its x and y position. The width is going to be, or the x-coordinate is going to be the x plus the width. The y-coordinate is just the y. This is x plus the width, and this is y plus the height. This is the x-coordinate, and this is y plus the height. Sorry if I'm going a little fast, but you guys can review this code, and I'm very confident that once you look through it, it'll make sense. So let's play it, and you can see it worked. So we've completely abstracted numbers out of it. So we've just set the values up here for the width and height in the x and y position of the square at the top left corner, and then down here we drew it using those values. What is up, guys? It is Brian from Cross Coast Gaming, and today we have another Java tutorial, or Java game programming tutorial. So when we left off last time, you can see we have a square on the screen and a line attached going diagonally up to the left. And what we're going to do this time is we're going to do something that's going to help us in the long run a lot, I think. And it's something that might not be covered in other tutorial series, but I find super helpful. So we're going to make a helper class, as I like to call them. So go to your data package, right click it, and go to new package, and name it helpers. And inside here, create a new class. And this one we're going to create an artist, is what I call it. You can call it what you want, but it might be easier to call it the same thing as me for the tutorial. And the artist class is going to be pretty much handling a lot of the direct translation from what we want to do in the game to kind of handling the OpenGL and lightweight Java game library translation into all that code and stuff, so that we can abstract that and make it really simple to use in our boot class and our other game classes without having to worry about, you know, all this stuff here. So the first thing we're going to do is create two public static final ints. And usually when you hit final, or when you type final, you name the variable in all capital letters. So we're going to do that. So the width was 600 and the height was 400. And we set this back in our boot class earlier. And below this, we're going to make a public static void begin session method. And we're going to go to our boot class, and we're just going to take all this code from the model view up to the set title, copy that and get rid of it, go to the artist class and paste it in there. And then what we can do in our boot class is where all that code used to be, just type begin session, the same as our method name, and we need to import our helper now. So at the top, go to import static helpers, which is the name of our package, dot artist, which is the name of our class, dot star. And this is similar to what we did earlier. And we're just going to say import everything inside the artist class. So we now have access to both of these width and height variables as well as this begin session method. So import that, type begin session here, and let's save it and run it. And you can see that it works. So what we did is we took all the stuff that was in the boot class and kind of abstracted it and moved it to the artist class. So we're going to be working a lot in the boot class for stuff that's important to the game, and doing a lot of kind of work about, you know, drawing quads and textures inside the game and managing other parts of that. And the artist class is kind of just going to exist for us to reference the more nitty-gritty kind of drawing stuff. What's up, guys? It's Brian from Cross Coast Gaming, and this is another Java game programming tutorial. So the last time I saw you guys, we made a new method and a new class. So we made the artist class, which is our first helper, and we made the begin session method, which we called from boot. So if you run it now, we have our square and our line. So this time we're going to extend the utility of our artist class, and we're going to make a method to draw quads. So below the begin session method, make a new public static void draw quad. And it's going to take an x coordinate, a y coordinate, a width, and a height. Alright, and we can reuse the code we already did in the boot class. So go to the boot class, and inside of this while loop, we're just going to take everything from GL end up to GL begin for the quads. We're going to copy that and delete it, put it in our draw quad, and everything already works because we named the variables the same thing. So let's go back to our boot class, and we can get rid of the lines right here. We don't need to draw a line anymore. And we can also get rid of the coordinates up here. Don't need those. And so now in our while loop, if we want to draw a square, we can just call draw quad, and let's say at 50, 50, 100 width, 100 height. And if we run it, you can see it works. So whenever we want to draw a square, we can just call draw quad. So we'll make one more for funsies at 150, 150. It's also 100, 100. So now we have two. So this method's going to come in handy a lot in the future when we start drawing textures. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.